I also just want to take a few more minutes and talk about something we talked about a little bit earlier, and it's the issue of anger that a man carries. And wives, you got to understand something about your husband. He was raised likely to not experience anger and to not express anger. I remember as a young boy living in Chicago, my older brother was swinging a baseball bat and he cracked me right upside the head. It was a mistake, he said, and opened my eyebrow and started bleeding. And he said two things: don't cry and don't tell mom. So on my way in the house to tell my mom, because I had to go get some stitches, what I learned was Jack was essentially saying, Gary, don't experience pain and certainly don't express pain. And wives, we got to understand something about your husband. He may have learned that, you know what, emotions can't be experienced. I can't experience and express any kind of emotion. So sometimes what we as men do is we keep you, our wives, at bay. We self-protect and we hide behind the anger. So rather than showing fear or insecurity or frustration or anxiety or apprehension or sadness or hurt or anything else, we put up that wall because we don't know what to do with the anger. In fact, early in our marriage, Barb and I were having some conflict. And you remember this.
Absolutely.
And we were sitting on a sofa in our house, and there was a pillow there. And I started to talk to you, Barb, and I remember I was making a lot of sense. I think I had just finished my doctorate program, so I was kind of full of myself. And I was shooting arrows through your position on something, and I saw your countenance drop. And then I remember thinking to myself, Gary, you just did it again. You just wounded your wife. When am I going to stop and break this pattern? And so I picked up a pillow off the sofa, and I remember I handed it to you, and I said, Barb, just hold this in front of your heart. And when I talk about these issues, these arrows are going right into your heart, and I don't want to do that. So if you'll just hold it to the side, so when I talk about this issue, which I feel really a lot of passion about, when I talk about it, what I want to do is separate the person from the behavior. And so I looked at that issue and I began to realize that in my strength, there are times when I wound you. In my strength, sometimes I'm a brute rather than connecting to you and loving you well. And when we learned how to separate those two, it's almost like we said, let's partner together to talk about this issue to get to the other side. Emotions are strong. Emotions can be toxic. Emotions can be harming in a relationship if we don't learn how to balance them in an encouraging way.